Welcome back to the program. Now, we told you that the president of the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly, Mrs. Maria Fernanda Espinosa Garces, is expected to have a bilateral meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the president's villa when she visits, expected to be in the country today at about 2 p.m. estimated time. And, one of the things to be discussed is also the role of Nigeria in regional peace and unity. We have from our Abuja studios the Director, International Organizations, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Remi Oluyide. We'd like to thank you so much for joining us and ask that, knowing the itinerary of her visit to Nigeria, on the role of regional peace and security in the wake of the frequent attacks and also security issues around the country, how best can Nigeria function in terms of regional peace and security?
Nigeria has played very great roles, very versatile roles in that regard. And the visit of the President of the General Assembly is to further discuss how the United Nations can work with Nigeria to consolidate on the gains already made and to ensure that further successes are recorded, particularly in the fight against terrorism and insurgency, and more importantly, to ensure that there's regional peace and security. Recall that the UN has been involved in activities on how to ensure that terrorism in the southeastern part of Nigeria, part of Nigeria, is defeated and conquered. And on the basis of that, it has worked with the Nigerian government and other regional governments in ensuring the effectiveness of the multinational joint task force in that regard. So all of that and issues of climate change will be addressed in the course of the visit of the UN General Assembly President as she arrives later today.
Let's look at the role of multilateralism, when we talk about perhaps first the African continent now, organizations like the AU and then ECOWAS. How can they strengthen their alliance as member states, perhaps like the relationship shared by members of NATO or the European Union, for example?
ECOWAS and the AU have been working together. The regional economic communities in Africa have been working together with the AU in that regard. And of course, you know that to build capacity and to ensure that some level of support is recorded, the AU has its peace and security mechanisms. ECOWAS also has its peace and security mechanisms. Recall as well that at the moment, Nigeria is the current chair of the ECOWAS heads of states and government, and Nigeria holds the presidency of the AU Peace and Security Committee. These organs have functioned effectively with the organs of the United Nations in ensuring that we have greater stability in the region and in ensuring that peace-building efforts are more or less intensified time and again, to the very extent that we will continue to record remarkable successes in the fight against terrorism in the region and in the continent as well.
Finally, Nigeria's permanent representative to the United Nations, Professor Tijani Mohammed Bende, he has formally declared his intention to vie for the presidency of the 74th UN General Assembly. How bright are our chances?
The chances are very bright. Please note that Professor Tijani Mohammed Bande, as of today, remains the only candidate to have declared. He remains as well the candidate of all of Africa at the moment, having received endorsement from ECOWAS and from the African Union. And as we speak today, there is no opposition whatsoever to the candidature of Professor Tijani Bande. That tells the story that Nigeria's candidature in this regard is well received, and we are very sure that the chances are very bright.
We'd like to thank you so much, Director International Organizations, Mr. Remi Oluyide, for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, still taking a look ahead of May 29th inauguration, we have joining us also from our Abuja studios, CP Abayomi Akirimale, as preparations are in top gear. We'd like to thank you for joining us on the program, and we just have a few minutes before the end of the show. Tell us, the Army had earlier noted with great concern the efforts by some unpatriotic individuals, groups, and also foreign interests to cause mischief with regards to the security during the for the May 29th inauguration. What more can you tell us about that report?
Well, thank you very much. It is said that in every rumor, there can be some element of truth. So when it comes to security, any rumor you have, any information you have to gather it, analyze it, and that is what you call intelligence. And that will show you what action to take. So nothing can be taken for granted. So if that information has come to those who are in charge, and they have finalized it, and that's their conclusion, it behoves that we must be on the lookout and be on the watch out. We must be careful. But that is not limited to those who are statutorily empowered to do that. It concerns all Nigerians who are stakeholders. It's telling us that we must be watchful, because survival of the nation implies the survival of individuals. It's individuals that make up the nation, and without the nation, we may not even have the individuals. So individuals must also be on the lookout to ensure that we have a peaceful transition. And everything has been okay so far, and we must maintain it and improve on it.
And finally, you know, a lot of people, when they hear that, they're asking questions. I mean, how do you identify these people, and how are you handling the situation to make sure that those threats do not see the light of day on the day?
Well, security measures have to be put in place, even where you cannot pinpoint a particular instigator. You can still prevent, even when you cannot identify. All we need to do is to tighten our security, tighten it along the borders, and we have to look at our records, know the potential sources of threat, and ensure that we take care of all those areas.
I'd like to thank you, former Commissioner of Police Abayomi Akirimale, for joining us on the program, as that's how we wrap the show this afternoon. We'd like to thank you for watching. Join the discussion via social media platforms. I'm Millicent Walker. I'll see you soon.